I'm ready to show you my full personal collection of fine writing instruments. I had promised you that once we reach 10,000 subscribers, we would do that, and here we go. Hey Goodfellas, I'm Naldi and we are at styleofzug. So, we have my full collection here of fine writing instruments. Just before we start, we have a lot of writing instruments to cover, Goodfellas, and it's just crazy, and a lot are in the boxes and they have a story, and at the end of the video, I'm even going to unwrap one of the new pieces that I have purchased for myself. I won't tell which brand it is. So let's start by just telling you, how do I collect? You know, I'm in this industry since now 15 years. For me personally, it's not only about using them. I do have writing instruments which I use, which I love to have with me because they represent something, but I do have pieces that have a special meaning to me, and they're kind of part of my personal museum. And I love the idea of having items which are mine, which have a story to tell, a personal story to tell, and that I feel like if I would use them, I would just, you know, kind of ruin them, and there's no point of using them because I could just use something else. So we're gonna have a mix between everyday carries, which you know by now because I always show you those in my vlogs, but I do have a selection of pieces here which are truly awesome. Some very important pieces in here that I have never or not yet used, but I'm happy to have, and at the right moment I will ink them up and use them. Let's start with this, okay? You're gonna find this boring because a lot of you know. So I'm gonna show it to you this way. This is my 5-pen patch of Mont Blanc. Still the same 5 pens which I brought with me to London. I will be traveling the next days, so I will see which pens I will be using, and maybe I need to refill them or also change the refill on the rollerball. I have the 40 Grand Bleu as a rollerball. I have the Delta Dolce Vita as a fountain pen with fine nib. Obviously, my Design 08 with medium nib, and then you'll discover another Design 08 which is absolutely special. This is a number 0, so it's one of the first samples that Otto Hoot did. Then I have this wonderful Ralph Faber-Castell Pen of the Year Aztecs, which has a very special meaning to me because I signed a very important contract with some of my partners with this piece. So it has become one of the writing instruments that I just look at it and I'm like, okay, I remember when we were in that room and it was such a special moment for me. And now everything about this writing instrument is connected exactly to that moment. Then obviously I have the Montegrappa Extra that I did on the configurator. I love this celluloid here, and what I find super funny is the fact that I've had many of you telling me that you ordered exactly the same piece after seeing my video. One of my customers asked me to order her exactly this writing instrument, exactly the same way, just with her initials on the back. So I'm very happy about it, and it's a pen I truly love. I'm happy that I have a celluloid writing instrument because celluloid is gonna go out of market because no one is producing celluloid like they used to do. You know that celluloid is a material that needs to be stored for 10 years in order to not be inflammable anymore when you're manufacturing it. So they put it in an oven, they let all the gas come out, and there's only as much celluloid on the market as there actually is. Happy about this. So these are 5 writing instruments that I use in my 5-pen pouch like this. I'm always happy to have them with me. I rotate them with some of the pieces that I have in here, which I'm gonna show you, and that's super cool. Then I wanna show you something that is truly special, and it's the Shalana of Sailor. I've shown you this one also on Instagram. It's a super small writing instrument. I truly think that Sailor should bring this one back in some form. It has an 18-karat gold nib, the smallest gold nib that you can find on the market. It's extra fine, but oh my gosh, how cool it is to write with this one. Whenever I have like specific things that I'm writing down and maybe little details next to other things that I have written with a finer or medium nib, then I use this one, and it's such a pleasure to use, even if it's very small, not heavy at all, but at least the fact that it's in metal, it does give me certain vibes. And now, one of the new pieces I have purchased is finally the 40 Le Mans. I was long waiting to buy this piece. Finally, I pulled the trigger. Wonderful green lacquering on the barrel with a little bit of perlage inside, and then we have this twisted cap look at this, look at how beautiful it is. Wonderful, wonderful writing instrument. Absolutely love it. I've been using it a lot with a beautiful Mont Blanc ink that you can only get years ago when you would visit the manufacturer. So absolutely amazing. But let's start with some of the more interesting things. Well, before we do that, this is my Design C. Look at the patina on this writing instrument. I mean, it's my Design C. It looks old, it looks used. There is a story of me using this writing instrument, and there's nothing more beautiful than that when it comes to a writing instrument. So even if this is a very valuable writing instrument, obviously it's one of those writing instruments that age in a way you must use the Design C. As I mentioned in one of my videos, I'm definitely gonna get one just to put on the side, because I do love also having just new things on the side. I think it is cool and there's a reason for it, and just do as you wish. We've seen Manor, which uses all of his writing instruments, and then there might be other collectors which love to have specific pieces because they love to look at them, they love to present them to friends whenever they come over home. That's what I do. I open up a few of the boxes and I say, look at this, this is this, this is this. If we talk about that, I have a piece in front of here. It's an Otto Hoot packaging. This is obviously a pen I could never ever use. Why? Because this is the Design 08, but it's the Design 08 number 1. Medium nib, look at this, 08001. It's still sealed in the original packaging as it came. It's the first Design 08 that was ever released by Otto Hoot. It's sealed, I'm never gonna open this. This is a museum piece. There's no way I could open this up. I would feel stupid. I would rather buy another one just to use, which I did with the number 0, and just leave this one here because it has such a huge historical relevance. And I mean, this is priceless. What price does the Design 08 number 1 has? It's priceless. First of all, I must be willing to sell the piece, which I'm not. And second thing, what price could you give to such a piece? It's priceless. And I love this about some writing instrument, the fact that you are one of few that might own it. And I know that a lot of you might have other pieces which I'm like, wow, I wish I'd have this, but I can't because you have it, and there might be just 5-6 pieces. And Manor mentioned it. He said, we're in a honeymoon phase. Yes, we're in a honeymoon phase because everything that we are kind of buying right now, it's still at a very, very low price. So it's absolutely worth it. And one day people will be looking exactly after those pieces that us game changers and Goodfellas have bought decades ago or years ago. Then, you see, this is another piece. Impossible I could use that. So the story behind this writing instrument is that Robert Jan Breuer of Fratello Watches sent me an image asking me, okay, what is this logo on the Mont Blanc Meisterstück? And then I researched and I said, oh, this is Warner Music. And so this is a Meisterstück that Mont Blanc did for Warner Music with the engraving 1970 to 1925. So it was celebrating 25 years of Warner Music. And it's a full set. I found a piece on eBay at a ridiculous price, I have to say. But again, what is the value of having such an historical piece that is a special piece with Mont Blanc together with Warner Music in its box? I even have, well, this is receipt from eBay. No price is being shown, but I have this as a record in here. And I'm just proud to have this. Whenever I think of something special that I own, I think about this wonderful Mont Blanc Warner Music. And just to make a comparison, this is almost like having, one of those Rolex Tiffany or having one of those Rolex with the Qatari logo on the dial. This is what it is, but it's just writing instruments. That has a different story. There is a different reasoning behind it, and therefore very valuable writing instrument. And if you have one, congrats. There aren't many of this on the market. There might be 5, 6. Some employees of Warner Music might have it, might have thrown it away. It might be in some drawers, in bad conditions, without the box. You know how these things end. You get a gift and you're like, okay, nice. 25 years later, for a community of passionate people, it becomes something relevant. So, I have to give you this kind of context, or it's just gonna be like, oh yeah, he has a pen with a logo on it. Then I have a wonderful Chronoswiss Styloscope by Pelikan. Super happy and proud to have this one with the original Chronoswiss box, and then we have also here the little notebook that they would provide. That's a great piece. Very few pieces still available here at Style of Zug. If you're interested in this, check it out. I'm just telling you because the last 88 pieces that Chronoswiss found in the basement were given out to us to sell them to aficionados, and therefore it's a huge opportunity to again have a sovereign that was done for Chronoswiss, which is something that Pelikan didn't do otherwise. And it has a special clip, it has all special kind of details. So wonderful piece. I'm really glad to have this. This we're going to do at last. We're going to do this at last, and then the new piece that I've purchased for myself. Then two pieces that I found on the net, and I was super amazed. And there's a reason for it. And the reason for it is the fact that these were made for the Pictet Bank, if I'm not mistaken. And it was one Caran d'Ache Oberalp, so it's a set, still sealed, that were made for the employees of Pictet. Let me just check if I'm correct. There's not even anything written in here. Yeah, wow, it's here, Pictet. So it's a bank in Switzerland, a private bank, very famous and important. It even has the initials SC of the employee, which sold, I don't know why, and it's the Oberalp with these wonderful figures of the Edelweiss and then some very typical Swiss engravings and lacquering inside, ballpoint and the fountain pen, both still sealed. Super happy to have this because it was a gift made by a bank. So again, I love when two famous maisons come together, so Warner and Montblanc and Pictet and Caran d'Ache, and it gives such a special meaning to these pieces. And one day these won't be made anymore, and they were not for sale. That's also a thing. I mean, the fact that these pieces were not for sale and I managed to find it, same like the Warner Music one, it's just so cool. And in addition, this was like a set that I purchased online. There was this one, and this is even crazier because you know my love for Caran d'Ache and Caran d'Ache Le Mans, proven by the fact that I just bought a Terre d'Ombre. There was also this one with the same initials, SC, Pictet Bank logo, and check this out. It's a Le Mans with a very specific design, like waved guillotine with then red burgundy lacquering in it with a red top, with, instead of Caran d'Ache, the SC, the initials of the person. And I mean, wonderful fountain pen. Again, the fact that no one can just buy this is just so awesome. And I have a Caran d'Ache which never hit the market and was only made for the bank. And obviously they also had to take a specific quantity in order for Caran d'Ache to do that. Or they probably paid a fortune for each single piece of these ones, which I probably think because Pictet is not, you know, it's not UBS where they have thousands and thousands of people, or they might have thousands of people. I have no idea. But anyway, this is what I love about this writing instrument. So you see, it's all about stories and reasons why, and I can give a reason to almost anything. Then what I have here, this is a piece of design. I'm a lover of modern art and designs, and this is even displayed at the MoMA in New York. That's why it is also so important. It's the Tesi of Aurora in sterling silver, if I'm not mistaken, and just look at the design, so innovative. I mean, we're talking about a 40-year-old writing instrument and design, years where design was at one of the highest peak, comes in this plexiglass box, such a wonderful piece of design. You can open it up this way. I won't pick it out because I mean I'm gonna have all fingerprints on it, but truly love to have this. It's displayed at my home. So actually to do this, I had to bring over all writing instruments which were at my home displayed, and I actually had to make sure that I didn't miss any because I really wanted to show you my full collection. And this is my full collection next to a few pieces which have absolutely no relevance anymore for me, and I'm probably actually just gonna sell. Then something that has an emotional value for me is this Cartier here, because this Cartier, now I have a blackout about the name of this Cartier, is a very normal Cartier. It's even a fountain pen with a 14 karat gold nib, 18 karat gold nib. But what's special about it is the engraving on the clip. There's Kakakaladze written on it. And Kakakaladze was a player of AC Milan, and then I am an AC Milan player. This was a pen that was gifted to him on the day he retired, and they did a special match with all legends of AC Milan. Sandro found this on the net, Sandro Cazzato, and he purchased this for me. First he sent me the link, and I was in a moment where I was fully invested, so I couldn't spend any money on anything. And he sent me that, and I was like, oh, that's super cool. And it was even a reasonable price that I was like, well, very cool, but yeah, like super cool. And then one day he comes in the store and is like, hey, look what I have for you. And when I saw the box, I knew that this one was inside. And so it has an emotional value because it's a gift from my best friend, and it's something that is related to my passion in football of Kakakaladze, which I think, you know, is a super, super nice thing. And I mean, just cool to own it. Now you're gonna ask me, how did it end up on the market? I have no idea. Fact is that I have it now. Next one. This is a piece that I purchased also on the net. So you see, I do buy a lot on the net, and I do want to make a video about if you should buy from eBay and other websites, just to give you a guidance on what you should look for. This one actually was on Ricardo in Switzerland, and I mean, it's a 40 chaque rideau, and you will say, no big deal. Yeah, if it wasn't in 925 sterling silver, which is pretty unique to own nowadays. And again, what I love about this is the fact that it's not just an écrit-d'or, but it's a very old one. I mean, we're talking here, let's see, there is even the warranty here. Maybe there is a date of printing. There's not, obviously. No, there's not. I'm checking this as we speak. No, nothing. Basel Landschaftliche Zeitung. So this is a newspaper from Basel Land. And again, you see there is a pattern. Anything where there is this fusion, this cross-contamination of two worlds, of two brands, of two maisons, of two companies, I love it. And I love it because obviously I wouldn't probably buy it if it would be just made last year, unless it's really an iconic brand, you know, whatever it might be. I don't know, Rockefeller, Graf von Faber-Castell, Rockefeller Mont Blanc, something like that. It's an écrit-d'or, which is a classic, so I own a classic. It's in 925 sterling silver. It has a relevant and historical engraving of a newspaper that I'm not even sure it still exists. Obviously, it was probably a gift to a contributor, or maybe, you know, it was a giveaway of the newspaper, or it was gifted to a customer of the newspaper. Fact is that I'm super happy to have such an icon in my personal collection now. Let's keep on going because we'll be never finished with the amount of things that we have here, because I mean there's still around 20 pens in here. So what is this? I'm at a point where I don't even know anymore what there is inside. Mont Blanc, I'm pretty sure this is a 149 full set with the original certificate and warranty, so that's what I love about it. And yes, there is a writing instrument, and yes, it's a 149, and yes, it's a fine nib, and yes, it's a West Germany. Whenever you find West Germany Pelicans or Mont Blanc, buy them. They're still currently at a very good price, sometimes at the same price of a 149, of a normal 149. And I mean, you have a piece of history which, you know, is connected to before that the wall in Germany, in Berlin, was pulled down. And therefore it has an historical relevance because it's not just made in Germany, it's made in West Germany. And we're talking about an icon which Again, we connect the fact that it has historical relevance, that it has an historical printing and even an etiquette here. The West German is also here on the clip. And we connect it to the fact that it's a must-have and an icon, and there is no reason why I shouldn't have such an amazing writing instrument. Even more, if it's a full set of 1989, something like that, perfect condition. It is wrapped in bubble just to like reassure that it's in perfect condition, and somehow I think the box doesn't really close anymore. That is part of the game and you can't change that. Certificate, even the sleeve inside. Then, next one, let's see what we have here. There was a moment in life where I was just buying Meisterstücks. Whatever Meisterstück I would find, I would buy them. Because there has been a moment where there were a few interesting pieces. Oh yeah, it's a Le Grand, West Germany again. Medium nib this time. So I'm proud and I knew I have this. Don't feel like... The fact is following, you know, guys, you have to understand, for you this is like full-time passion, let's say. You can call it hobby. I prefer to call it passion. I think it's more of a passion than a hobby. Obviously, you can spend time somehow next to your job on finding the pieces, but this is what I do in life, so I'm confronted with writing instruments. So what happens? Every once in a while, I remember, oh, I should buy some things from my collection because I do feel very good about it. And I'm like, let me just buy it, and then I put it on the side because I know that these are pieces I'm not going to use, or I just buy it, take them and ink them, and I make them part of my daily life in this incredible journey of changing the game. It comes in this box. I'm not sure, I don't think this is the original box. Actually, I'm pretty sure that this is not the original box. To be honest, who cares? It still has the sticker on it. A must-have, but a must-have. West Germany, medium nib, a piece that I'm not gonna use. When I purchased this one, I purchased another piece, which would be just a normal Meisterstück that I could use, just to make sure that I wouldn't use these ones. And you know, I take them out every once in a while. And you know what? I think you can even call this an investment, because they're never gonna do West Germany writing instrument anymore. And the more the market is gonna grow, the more these pieces are gonna have a certain value. And so I will be handing these over to my future son, my future daughter, and say, hey, look how special this is. And obviously, I'm going to let them grow by understanding and let them watch every single video that I did on YouTube. Poor them. And I mean, I'm gonna explain them what this is all about, the history, the story behind it, and probably at a certain point they will find this so valuable and will have so much context because it probably came from their father. I think that's a cool story all in all. So yeah, I think that this also has relevance. It does give me emotion, it gives me vibes, and so that's why I do it. While obviously I know a lot of you are like, no, use the pens. Absolutely, but there's only as many pens as I can use, and I am in the industry, and I'm also like, who knows, maybe one day we're gonna open up a museum with all of these pieces displayed, and we're gonna explain them as they're gonna have relevance. So I am actually building my museum and maybe a future museum that we're gonna open up. So this is also an important thing. I'm not mentioning prices here because I don't think it's important. I mean, you know pretty much. And a lot of this is, again, what's the value? Maybe it's also, they're not in their right value at this stage because the market is still small, but it's growing. There's more high-end customers coming in. And the more people come in, the more they will be extremely interested in this kind of things that you can't find anymore, right? So here we have another Mont Blanc. I have no idea what it is. So this is, again, full set. Oh, yeah. Happy to have this. I remember I bought this one. You're gonna find this ridiculous, but as I said, this is another historical piece. Some people still come and they're like, is there still this burgundy Meisterstück? And I'm like, no, there's not. It's a fine nib classic. They don't do this anymore, and I think it's a very relevant writing instrument of the Meisterstück line. So again, it's kind of a museum piece that you have there, still with the sticker on. And I actually, you know, I've shared and I thought about this idea of opening up a museum today for the first time together with you. Probably it was somewhere hidden back there that I would want to do something. But this is the reason why I have this kind of pieces. You know, even a #1 Otto Hut, this deserves to be displayed somewhere and therefore, you know, to be seen at some point. Imagine in 30, 40 years, how old will I be in 40 years? 73. Yeah, hopefully I'm still here. But you know, I think it's gonna have relevance. If I don't do it, my kids will be doing it, and they'll make sure that we have a nice place where all of us can visit these things. And by the way, you know what, if you're ever visiting me, now that you've seen this video, if you want to see any of these pieces, not all of them, don't ask me to bring them all, but if you want to see any of these pieces, like the number 1 Otto Hood Designs You Rate, ask me for it. I'll bring it over from the bank vault, or some things are displayed at my home, and I'll be more than happy to do that. So now we have made this, ridiculous. The pen that we're gonna open up together is there. Let's start with the pens that we have here. Let me make a bit of space. These are pens which I purchased over the last 15 years. So some are Italian, some are German, and not all of them are equally relevant to me nowadays. You know, we grow, taste evolves. I always tell you to buy less but better, because that's exactly what I did not do, and I wish I did. But I also have to say that at the end of the day, there is still a relevance for each single piece. There is also things to remember when I look at this, and some of them are truly nice, and sometimes I pick them out and I'm like, oh, this is actually super, super cool. So let's go through it. Madeleine piece. I love the craftsmanship of this writing instrument. I mean, I don't know if we actually realize how complex it is. We have the sterling silver, which is hand engraved, and then inside we have this wonderful emile in the sterling silver. It's an 18-karat gold nib with all sterling silver metal trims. The colors, it's called Peace, and I mean, just a beautiful piece. You see, this is actually a piece that I feel like I should just clean again and use it. And next to it, there is a wonderful stipula. Now, don't insult me. I'm not sure if this is celluloid. It does look like celluloid, and it has look, I love this finishing here of the barrel towards the grip section. That is one piece. And then we have an 18-karat gold medium nib. It's one piece. The only thing that I don't like, it's because of the material that is so light. I mean, it does look a little bit like mother of pearl. It's not mother of pearl, but you see the ink inside. So I'm not happy about this, but again, it's just how the piece is made, and so it's normal. The next is a piece that has a relevance for me, because this is the Takis Pied de Poule of Heidelberg. This is our own brand, and I did this because I wanted to add pattern to a writing instrument and give it a kind of fresh new look and creative look. So we airbrushed this together with Luca Roccaforte. Actually, in Frankfurt there was a market research about new upcoming trends in fine writing instruments, and this one was put there, and I was very proud about it because this has been my idea to create this, and we sold this very, very well. It's a rollerball that I can use easily every day. Then next to it we have the Takis Rose Gold with a black titanium nib. I'm not using this a lot actually, but I'd love to tune it a bit and then put it back at use, because titanium is not gold. I'm more into gold nibs, but it has a nice scratch of feedback, more a scratch of a feedback. But you know, it's titanium, so it's a hard material. I'd love to see how this performs and how I feel about it. Then we have the Mont Blanc Meisterstück, which I mentioned I purchased together with the other West Germany one. This one is inked. I'm using it all the time. Then a piece that I'm not using at all, but I purchased this like 20 years ago. I was maybe I even got this as a gift from my parents, to be honest. I think that's what happened. You see again, 925 sterling silver. They really used 925 sterling silver for anything back at the time in the 90s, 2000s. Nowadays, it's only for like special edition because of the cost of 925 sterling silver. But it's an Alfa Romeo Delta, and I think it is quite relevant. Again, at least it's two brands coming together. Alfa Romeo, iconic Italian brand, and Delta, another iconic Italian brand from another industry. How cool is that? Another Marlene. I love the color of this one. Look at this color. Again, all 925 sterling silver, and the shape. So I wish sometimes that Italian brands would just stick to some of their designs and shapes, because they could become iconic. But since they often jump on the next model, they go forgotten. But just look at the shape of this Marlene. Small cap, you can cap it on the back. Grip section is quite cool. It's a very unusual shape, which I think is nice because we deserve to kind of have also unusual shapes. And same goes with this one, which is, if I'm not mistaken, this one is called Liberty, and this is the piece. This is the same shape like this one. I think this has everything to become an icon. So why don't they focus on getting back with these pens? I'm not sure if Marlene, I think they're still operating. Back at the time, my parents were distributors, and so I would carry these at Style of Zug. And every once in a while, when I saw these colors, I was just amazed by the colors and the mix of creativity. And this is what Italian pens are all about. But look at this writing instrument. It has everything it takes to be an iconic piece. So really cool. Then Montegrappa Extra that I did on the configurator, brown with my logo, the American Dream. This is a piece that was made for Jacob & Co. by my father, and this reminds me of hustling, of the American dream, of making it. Actually, I'm going to the US this week, so I'm gonna carry this one with me. I just need to take refills to make sure that it's gonna perform right. All sterling silver, and then lacquering. Stunning. But we have another one. I have to go a bit faster through it because it's gonna be forever. All right, let's start here. Ami 2000, the black Macrolon one, but it's a B-nib. So I cleaned this one. I'm not using it. Probably I will sell it and maybe then buy a fine nib or so. A beautiful piece. I love everything about this. I've done a video. You know how much I love it. Then we have the Edelberg Sloop. Iconic writing instrument. Just look at the shape. Heidelberg is our brand. I built the whole distribution when I was in my 20s for Heidelberg in the US, Qatar, Ukraine, everywhere. And then we had to stop because we had huge production problems. Plus the market was getting more and more difficult because it was the era of digitalization. So the focus was going all into like digital devices. So we had to put Heidelberg on hold for a second, but just look at it. The clip retracts inside the body, stainless steel metal trims. People that had Grobels, Richard Milles and so on, they will love this writing instrument because it's so modern, so mechanic. So watch lovers really love this one. Then the Marlene Racing in glass fiber, again, a ridiculous 925 sterling silver metal trims. I do love that about these Marlenes, that they're so high quality, even the glass fiber, and then you have this red accent as a grip section is just so cool. And then another, this is a sample, a number 0, it's a denim sloop made by Luca Roccaforte, number 0 of 0, and you see all hand stitches have been hand painted on the edges of the writing instrument, and then a denim cloth has been put over it in order to create this incredible pattern. At the end, we did it differently and it came out way nicer than that, but this is my first sample and it remembers me of when I was working on this project, on the Gessato, on the Piero Pool, and I loved it. I'm gonna leave this at the end. Delta Indios, indigenous people. Should get back this at use. I love it. Love the shape. I love the nib also. This is very important because this is a Stipula Pinocchio, and the Stipula Pinocchio is a piece that was released after the movie of Roberto Benigni, Pinocchio, and my father called Luca Vitti and said, you should be doing a Stipula Pinocchio. You're from Florence, Benigni's from Florence, and Carlo Collodi was from Florence, Pinocchio is from Florence. They created this one, and it always remembers me of my father actually calling Stipula and telling him to do it. They did it. And just look at how cool it is. And my grandmother is from Florence, so I have roots there. That's why it is a very important piece. I love Pinocchio as a story. I've read several times the book of Carlo Collodi, and it's absolutely great. Then an Aurora Optima in blue auraloid with a 14-karat gold nib. It's a piston filling mechanism. We're not carrying Aurora right now because I don't see where the brand is headed in the next years, and you know that at Style of Zug we're very selective selective on what we have in our boutique, but they have in-house made nibs. They're great writer, certain kind of feedback when you're writing. So definitely a wonderful, wonderful piece. Then another Marlene in these crazy colors. How do they call it? Nature Grande in this yellow, just marvelous. 18 karat gold nib, marbled cap, plain yellow. Not using it, but I love to have it and to see it. It's pieces that are 20 years old and they're becoming historical. So I will never find this on the internet, probably. I haven't checked. You go check for me. Then Montegrappa Kirsch Style of Zug edition, number 0 in wood. You see, I'm a bit crazy because this is a pen I use. This one is inked. It has a medium nib and I mean, it's a 0, I shouldn't be using it, but probably the fact that it's in wood and sterling silver and so it ages makes me want to use it. So I'm very impulsive in that. I just say like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna use it. And then I just start. It's something that I feel at first hand. I feel like, for example, these things here, I'm like, no, this I can't use. There's no point for me using this. But then I have a number 0 that I could also just put on the side and I'm like, no, this one I'm gonna use. And so I always have to be also careful that I don't lose this kind of pieces, but I'm very careful on that. I'm not careful with my items, but I'm careful on not losing them. I always carry a pen pouch to make sure that we don't lose them. Then, Pen of the Year 2023, Egypt. One of the most beautiful pen of the year they've ever done. If you haven't got one, then consider it because it's truly, truly marvelous. All black, and then we have this detail as a grip section with the 18 karat yellow gold nib and all these elements, the lapis lazuli on the top, the Iovorus on the back. I haven't inked this one yet. I'm waiting for a special moment, but I think soon I will be inking this up and start using it so I can put it next to my Aztecs. And now, time has come to reveal my latest purchase. So I bought the Terre d'Ombre, and together with the Terre d'Ombre, I did buy another piece. And I'm talking about the Caran d'Ache Various Rainbow. Let's discover this one together. So let's open this up together. Caran d'Ache Various Rainbow. Piece that I truly love for the facets it has and the little detail. And here we go. $18 karat gold nib. Look at the little details here. Rainbow details. Love it. All metallic. And then you open it up. It's a limited edition of 400 pieces. New pen. So guys, fellas, this was it. This was my full collection. Now let me know down in the comments what you think about it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. And I truly cannot wait to read from all of you and to see what you think about how I use them, how I collect them, just what you think about this collection. Let me know down there because I truly want to read all of your comments and then reply to each single one of you. And at this point, I thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for a lot of more content that is coming up in the next days. And as always, don't forget that together we are changing the game.